New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Nick of Time Show here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And this is gonna be a rough one. This is gonna be a rough one to break down, because it's not. You know what, the Knicks, we should be taking care of home court, and at this point, that's not what we're doing. Knicks lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pretty good team. 126 to 109. There's no Kemba Walker this game. And to be honest, I thought with Kemba Walker out and the way these guards attack, we might have a better shot of actually winning this game because Kemba Walker was out, not injured, but, it was supposed to be rest protocol. He might come back tomorrow versus the 76ers, but I thought this might be an easier game for us, or at least a more probable game for us to win with him out. And boy, was I wrong. And not only, the way we lost was surprising, because Colin Sexton, who's a guy I was worried about, I definitely was worried about Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, those guys. But I thought Colin Sexton's speed would hurt us. Colin Sexton, he had an okay game, got injured. But the Spaniard, Ricky Rubio, was the guy who really took us out. Ricky really brought it to us, man. He had a career night. Once again, another player having a career night from three. It was Miles Turner. It was Allen, one from the Bucks. Now we got Ricky Rubio, who gives you 37 points and 10 assists on the night. The brittle penetration from Rubio was killing us all night, man. And I would like to characterize this game as the snowball game, man. This is the snowball game. This is a man who's not known for shooting threes. Every time he plays us, it seems like he starts to hit a three, right? But here's the thing. When a guy gets going and you don't take him defensively, when you don't take him seriously defensively from the start, and he starts getting comfortable, and he starts making shots, and he's out there like he's in the backyard, it gets hard for his teams. It gets scary odds for this team. The snowball could have been stopped when it was pebble size, before it started rolling down the hill. But eventually, that pebble started growing bigger and bigger because we did not take that man seriously. And we should have. Rubio, man, he wanted to be a Knick a long time ago. He wanted to be traded here. We already told you what it is. When teams come to the New York Knicks, when teams come to the Mecca, they come into play. There is a target on our backs. So the Knicks cannot afford to take teams lightly. They cannot afford to slack on the defensive end. Right now, the Knicks, 22nd in defensive rating in the NBA. Not a Tom Thibodeau team. Not a Tom Thibodeau stat. But all in all, it was the defense. It's the defense. The defense is really what did us in. The third quarter, in particularly, really killed us. I actually rewatched the third quarter in the middle of the game because I was perplexed. What the hell was happening over here, man? Rubio was involved in every. It seemed like every bucket in the third quarter, Rubio was involved in some shape or fashion. All right, Knicks all season long had trouble recovering from double teams and coming back out to shooters, and that's what got the pebble turning into a big meteor-sized, gigantic snowball going downhill. I think we doubled. I don't remember if we doubled Allen or Mobley, but we doubled down low. Evan didn't get back to Rubio. Open three. Again, Knicks in transition has been bad all season. When lower echelon of the league in transition defense, you turn the ball over. Rubio gets an open shot in transition. Another right after that. Rose gets switched on to Rubio, gets picked off. He gets picked off. A big recovers. And then he blows by the big. Rubio takes advantage again. Like, Rubio's jumping off, going off double screens, dumping it off the bigs, off the double screen, or all night we could not stop penetration from a guy who's been in this league for so long. The point of attack defense was so bad that I know Tom is looking at this roster and thinking there's changes that have to be made. And you know what? We saw Grimes today in the fourth quarter for the first time, playing his first meaningful minutes of the season. And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's just a start or something. And even though it might have been too little too late, because by that time that little pebble turned into a huge meteorite, Grimes did an admirable job. He challenged Rubio. At that point, he was hot. Rubio had to fall out of bounds. He had to hit crazy threes. He had to play otherworldly to get those shots off. But I thoroughly believe if we would have done that from the beginning, if we would have played adequate defense, we wouldn't have had to send double teams his way. That caused the 10 assists. We wouldn't have to exert so much effort turning back. And then once he got going, that team's confidence skyrocketed. It was too late. The faucet was busted open. The water was gushing out. We could not stop anybody. This team has to learn to have that killer instinct on defense from the jump. And once again, I'm a shout out the second unit. I'm shouting out Nerlens Noel. You all forgot how impactful Nerlens Noel could be. Nerlens Noel gives us the leeway to have a center that can go to the 3-point line and recover to his big at the same time. So shout out to Nerlens Noel. Obi Toppin, who needs more minutes. Absolutely needs more minutes. And that first half, it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate this team lost it in the first half. Obi Toppin had 11 points. No, he had 7 points in 4 minutes in the first half and was taken out of the game. Played beautifully. He head faked and gold. He's worked on his dribble handle. He's finishing at the rim with a high clip. Obi Toppin showed us something today. He really did. And at the end of the game, he had 11 points in 11 minutes. This is one of those games that I wish Obi Toppin had played a lot more minutes. Unfortunately, the coach got a little bit nervous. And then after the second unit built the lead, the lead started to dwindle, and he put Randall back in the game. So shout out to Obi Toppin. Also, I gotta big up Emmanuel Quickly, who busted out of his slump today. It seems like once he got 2 free throws to go, he was settled down, and he started to hit his shots again. He hit a couple of big threes that brought us back to this game, and he started hitting the floater. He started passing the ball. I felt like Emmanuel started to find his presence of mind on how to balance taking the right shots and getting his teammates involved. I feel like he did a really good job of doing all those things today. Matter of fact, the bench in general did well. Because Derrick Rose is the leader of this bench. Derrick Rose is the reason why we have one of the best benches in the league. So when you're looking at this bench after Derrick Rose goes to the starting lineup, you start to worry. Where are the points coming from? How is this going to work? And the bench stepped up. Alec Burks had some moments. Obi Toppin got some moments, and Emmanuel Quickly got to play a lot more on ball. And for this game, it worked. Bench points, 44 points. 44 points from this bench. 44 points on this bench, pretty good. That's our usual average from the bench, is around 44 points with Derrick Rose in it. So if you're gonna take a positive from it, good sign. The bench scoring did not lack. On the flip side, the bench had 52. The Cleveland bench had 52 points, but Ricky Rubio had a career night. Ricky Rubio had 37 of those 52 points, which is ridiculous. Which is super ridiculous. But if you're looking for some good from today's game, it is the bench stepped up when it had to. It played well. You saw some good point guard minutes from quickly. You saw a little bit. Alec Burks had an Alec Burks game, and you saw Obi, who's really good defensively, rotating, who was able to go to the hole with gusto, had a lot of fantastic layups at the rim. And you saw Quentin Grimes. You saw Quentin Grimes' defense and what he can bring to this team. And this might be the game when the coach starts to look at, can Quentin Grimes have a bigger role on the squad? Or if push comes to shove and things aren't happening defensively like Tom wants to, will he insert Quentin Grimes earlier? So I think this might be one of those games that might put pressure on some of these starters to pick up their game. So and that's what I have to say about that, because we all saw it. Quentin Grimes' defense, rock solid. And he hit an air ball on his first three, but you know what? It's his first game. It's pre-game. It's his first game in meaningful minutes. He airballed the first three, no big deal. Second three, in the thick of the moment, water. So we might see a little bit more Quentin Grimes today. The next game. Who knows? Tomorrow's gonna be another day of back-to-back. Tomorrow's gonna be another back-to-back game. So we will see the results of the Quentin Grimes game, the results of these Knicks and this game, and how Tom will respond when we play the 76ers tomorrow. But let's talk about some other things, man. And of course, if you want to call in and you have some gripes about the game, you want to talk about the good, the bad, or the ugly, you already know what to do. Call 319-527-6241. You see the number right there. It's right there in the title, and it's also on the graphic if you want to talk Knicks with your boy Jay Ellis from the KOT show. Shout out to my guy Ryan. Shout out to Raw. I think Ryan's gonna be out on vacation because this is his birthday. He's in Mexico living it up. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan didn't want to be here for this anyway. Raw should be back tomorrow. I know he has some birthday obligations with his family, so he should be back tomorrow, rocking with us for the KOT show. Meanwhile, it's your boy Jay Ellis holding it down. Meanwhile, Derrick Rose, the experiment of Derrick Rose in the starting lineup. Listen, if the bench is going to produce at this rate, and this is only one game, it's only one game, we got to see multiple games to see if this can be consistent, to see if we can keep up this level of production with Derrick Rose in the starting unit. But if the bench can keep up this production, this might be something to look at long term, because what did Rose give you today? First of all, he gave you the pace. The pace of that game sped up. There was a point in that first half he was running by himself. Usually Obi is running with him. So, he's able to get some easy baskets. What was happening, though, in that first quarter was Fournier was able to get a couple of open shots just because Rose was pushing the pace. And kudos to Randall in that first quarter. He recognized that Fournier was hot. Fournier had, I believe, 11 points in that first quarter. He's able to find him in multiple times in the fast break and get him open shots too. And also, there was less pressure for Randall to get going on the offensive side of the ball. So he was able to pick his spots a little bit more. And that's the type of thing that we want. We want Randall to have to pick his spots and not have to force it where you feel like you're going ISO Randall at the time. Because you know what? At the time when we had Kemba Walker in, it seemed like he was having problems converting with Kemba Walker in the pick and roll. There was a few times we added a wrinkle to the offense. We added I don't know what the name of this play is called. I keep forgetting the name. But it's a play where Kemba is the top of the key, a few steps under the half court line, and there's two people setting picks at the top, and he kind of takes his man left or right and pulls up for three. We've been running that for a few times, but I feel like teams have scouted that, and it's cutting down Kemba's touches. At least the last game, because I feel like he only shot the ball about 5 times last game, even only in these limited minutes. So with that being said, having Derrick Rose having to, show us some of that offensive fluidity, like show us some of that offense, it's going to make things easier for Randall. He's going to be able to pick his spots. And I think we saw that tonight. End of the night, Rose had a decent game. 17 points, 5 assists. On the defensive side of the ball, he was having trouble because he got switched on to Rubio in that third quarter, and he was getting torched. But Evan was getting torched earlier before that. So man, like you pick your poison at this point. But you gotta admire, man. I feel like mentally, let's talk about this too. Mentally, another reason I like Derrick Rose in the starting lineup. There was a point in the game where the shoulders were shrugging. Julius Randle, he was not getting the calls. You all see what happens when Julius Randle doesn't get the calls. He starts to get boisterous. He starts to argue, and I kind of feel like the mood of the team shifts when he gets in that mode. And sometimes, like, he even kind of lacks on the defensive end. He starts to get into the yelling mode. And as much, I'm pro Randle. I like Randle here on this program. He still has to learn to control his emotions. There was a point in the game where Derrick Rose was trying to galvanize troops. Now, it didn't work. But this is what you need in that starting unit sometimes. If Randle can get you the points, but it's not going to be your emotional leader, we might need like an emotional leader in that first unit. Kind of like, Kevin Garnett, kind of like a Rasheed Wallace, kind of like not Draymond Green from Golden State. You know what I mean? Like, you need it emotionally, because when Randle loses it, because sometimes when things don't go his way, somebody else is going to have to snap him back into place. And that somebody might have to be Derrick Rose. And he was the one I felt like he was trying to rally the troops. I saw him actually clap. He was like, come on, let's get it to go. Come down the court, shoot a three. But then Rubio hit a couple of threes after that, and it all went downhill. But this is another reason why I feel like maybe it has to be Derrick Rose to galvanize his troops. And plus, Rose has Randall's respect. He gives Randall the ball easily, fluently, without question. Doesn't even question him at all. Gives the ball right to him. You know what I'm saying? So, Derrick Rose in the starting lineup, I think that's something we have to continue to look at. I'm not even going to hold you. Especially if the second unit keeps up to the scoring. Also, Evan Fournier. I had high hopes for Evan Fournier in this first half. I thought he was going to have it going. Usually, Evan Fournier struggles sometimes to hit these little mid-range game shots, these little floater shots. He started off the first quarter hitting those. I thought this was going to be a good night for him to have a snapback game. Scores 11 points in the first quarter. Finishes the game with 15 points. And again, the defense. With Derrick Rose in the star line, I thought it would litigate some of that defensive pressure. Didn't really happen tonight. RJ Barrett was off, man. RJ Barrett is off. And here's what I have to say about RJ Barrett. Don't you dare start putting him back in trade scenarios after he had 5 games shooting 20 points and having scoring 20 points or more. Don't do it. He had an off night. I saw somebody say his wife blamed it on the bad game on daylight savings time. I was thinking that too. Not daylight savings time per se, but the early games. Those early games, I was thinking maybe the timing kind of threw off the shot or something. But listen, I wasn't worried initially because the shots he was missing were wide open shots. Wide open threes. So I thought eventually it would click. But it didn't. It didn't really click for RJ. But the thing that I did like that he was doing was the penetration. And kudos to the Cavs. The book is out. The scouting report is out on his Knicks, man. if you put the Knicks in the zone, for some reason, we have even more trouble. We shot we shot 31 threes today. We've been trying to stay around 40. We shot 31 threes today. When we get into that zone, we think less, and we shoot worse shots. At a certain point, the Knicks were getting to the hole at will, and they adjusted. By clogging the paint, playing with the zone. And RJ had to get at one time. I thought this was gonna be an easy night because RJ was getting to the line and wherever he wanted to, get into the zone, and so was Derrick Rose. But kudos to these Cavs and this coaching staff, man. These guys are fighters. They fought back. I'm not worried about RJ as usual. I think he's gonna have a bounce back game tomorrow versus these 76ers. Mitchell Robinson, man. Mitch, 8 points, 5 blocks, 7 rebounds, and an assist. Mitch tried his best to clean up a lot of the mistakes that was being made at the perimeter. It was just putting too much pressure on the kid. Way too much pressure. He only played 16 minutes. And this is a testament to how well Noel is playing. But he did his damnedest, man. Like, here's the thing. I know we're asking Randall to do a lot, but we're gonna have to find a way to litigate the problem of these guards penetrating to the hole at such a high level, and we might have to gain rebound. I think one of the biggest problems we had was getting rebound after the penetration. If Evan Mobley is not a threat and Randall, you're guarding Evan Mobley, and these guards are penetrating and getting rebounds or catching lobs, I think at that point you have to adjust. And Randall can't just be hanging around like the mid-range area. He has to help on the boards. Or he has to help rotate to these bigs down low, because that play was happening over and over again, man, especially with Rubio. I feel like that was a big thing for this team where we should have made the adjustments after the breakdowns. Rubio's 10 assists killed us. I mean, all in all, Randall had statistically 19 points, 41% from the field, 3-point shooting, not so good. But like, he was hot and cold. You can tell Randall wanted this game, but I could also feel like he was gassed. He played 36 minutes on the night. He started out the third quarter playing really hard and looking like he wanted to make that comeback in that playoff push. That playoff was the comeback push, because the first play of the game, he overplays the pass lane. He smacks the ball out of bounds out of Evan Mobley's hands. And I think the speed of the game deflated him, and he was just gassed at some point, man. And I think this is the reason why Tom has to kind of not be afraid to play Obi more minutes sometimes. And maybe he was scared of this matchup because of the size difference of Mobley. Because, Mobley is so big and long. But sometimes when Randall gets in that mode, when he's emotional and he's gassed, and I feel like at about the 5 or 6 minute mark, he was just gassed in the third quarter. It might be time to bring Obi back in and have him play even more minutes, especially the way he was playing today, man. We have to find more minutes for Obi, man. It's imperative. And maybe this is the wrong team to find that matchup to do it, but we have to find more minutes for Obi. For Obi. 3-point shooting. 3-point shooting in general. This team is built to be a better 3-point shooter. We've had games where we've already broke the record for 3-pointers, and now it seems like we're backsliding. Missing Kemba Walker might be one big reason. He was number 1 in the league at shooting threes at one point. That can take a hit for us. Derrick Rose, I'm not complaining. But with the switch up of the minutes, with the back-to-backs happening, with Kemba missing some games, we might have to keep an eye on that 3-point shooting to see, is it going to be at the level we thought it was going to be in the first 3 games. So I'm keeping an eye on that as the season progresses, because as teams figure us out, it seems like, I know our goal was to shoot 40 threes a game and still shoot them at a high clip and still shoot them from the corner. But I think we're starting to get away from that a little bit as these games go along. And you know what? Let me look at the charts, too, because the charts kind of tell a story. Like, Tibbs likes the corner threes. I've definitely noticed over the first few games, a lot of our threes have been from the elbow and from the top, not necessarily the corner. I know that's not the Tom Thibodeau way. Usually, RJ is the corner three guy. So I think we're getting away from the game plan, but at the same time, we have guys who like to make that elbow three and less that corner three. So maybe we're just adjusting to our personnel. But I'm keeping an eye on where the threes are coming from, and I'm going to keep an eye on the 3-point rate. And I'm going to keep an eye to see how are we going to do offensively as teams start to figure us out on that side of the ball. Because right now, as of today, the Knicks are number 4 in offensive rating. And I want to see if that can keep up as things go on. As teams start to figure us out, as teams start to scout us. Because at the beginning of the season, Evan Fournier and Julius Randle had that dribble handoff play. That was a staple in the first 2 or 3 games. Teams started to figure that out. Now you haven't seen it anymore. Same thing with Kemba Walker shooting off the three off of those picks. I don't see that anymore either. So as this game progresses, I want to see how this team shapes out on the offensive rating if we're able to stay at top 4 at this point. But yeah, salute to the chat, man. Salute to that. This is a tough game to watch. Congratulations everybody who's watching right now. Y'all the real MVP. Y'all the real Knicks fans. All 82 out here. Gunshots to you guys, man, who've been here. Win or lose, y'all still Knicks fans. We still here. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say this is still a winning record. We still have a winning record. We have a chance to beat these 76ers tomorrow and redeem this. We maybe, listen, the 76ers matchup, that might be a favorable matchup for us. You already know they're going to come for blood tomorrow because, they lost to the Knicks and, they lost to us. So it's very hard to beat teams 2 times in a row, especially when the game was, in recent memory. It wasn't a long time ago when we beat the 76ers. But so it might be a dogfight tomorrow. It might be a dogfight, but we have a chance to win. Shoot, it's crazy because even Tom at one point he took Randall out early. He took Randall. Usually he plays these guys to the bell. He actually took them out when Taco Fall came in. He took out the starting unit and Randall, these guys. So maybe he's taking tomorrow's game seriously. Who knows? Yeah, but the phone lines are still open. 319-527-6241 if you want to talk Knicks basketball, man. Otherwise, I could just read off the comments, shout you guys out, and get ready for this game tomorrow because we will be back to talk Knicks versus 76ers tomorrow. All right. But shout out to everybody who's rocking with the KOT show, man. Gunshots for you guys. Crazy game, roller coaster game I thought we could win. I'm not even gonna lie. I know, and I didn't take these Cavs. I didn't take them too lightly because I already knew what they could do. I already saw Evan Mobley. I already knew Garland was playing better. I know these guys was playing better, but I thought we still had a chance to win. I thought we still had the horses to do it. And it just happened to be that it took Ricky Rubio to have an out-of-his-mind career shooting night to do us in. Like, that was crazy. You got to tip your hat off to that man. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Brooklyn Butch. My bad. Shout out to Brooklyn Butch. Shout out to Craig Ward. Shout out to Fritz Alessandor. Shout out to Charmboy 72 Abel. Shout out to Antoine, Sunil, Henry, Sammy TV. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT. Shout out to my guy, Eric Nuggy Fresh in the building. Shout out to JT Reddick. Says salute KOT. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show, man. Win or lose, we still here, all 82, man. Breaking down these games for you as only Jay Ellis can, man. I don't have my gang with me today, but if y'all don't know, I've been doing this for a while. I started off doing post-game shows. First of all, I had the podcast with my guys with, Edson Sean, K Steel, Ryan G in the building. Back in the day was in the garage. But I was doing post games on Instagram Dolo for a while before I was got it on YouTube. So it ain't no thing, man. It ain't no thing. JL's doing his thing Dolo. But hopefully we might have our guys. Some of the guys, maybe Roll will be back tomorrow, and I know Ryan, he'll be back at least at the end of the week to talk some Knicks basketball. Shout out to Wooden Mena. Gunshots to my guys. To the 499 super chat says KOT with my KOT snapback on. Love the KOT fam. Shout out to you, Wooden Mena, man. Shout out to Wooden Mena rocking with the KOT snapback. I'll let you go. He's watching the KOT show with the snapback. That's love right there. That's love right there. Snapback on. I got my snapback on too. It's just backwards today. But best believe this is the KOT snapback. And I'm out. Hold on a second. Just in case. If you want to get your KOT snapbacks, you already know what to do. Here, go to nickoftimeshow.com/catalog to get your KOT snapbacks. All right? nickoftimeshow.com/catalog to get your KOT snapbacks. Get yours today. All right. Well, no one's calling in. I don't think anybody's calling in. If no one's gonna call in, I'm gonna end the show, man. I get it though. Everybody's emotional. I'm gonna let you guys know though. Like if I didn't have to do this show, I'd have been in my home. I'd have been at home sulking. You know how crazy it is. How hard it is to do a show when you pissed. I'm emotional. I'm a real fan. But shout out to everybody who's rocking with the show, man. Thank you for the support. All right, but that is the show. It's gonna be a short one. We'll definitely be back tomorrow. Keys to the game tomorrow. I'm looking to see if Kemba Walker is going to play. That's for sure. I'm looking to see if Kemba Walker's going to play. I'm looking to see if Quickly can actually turn this game around and turn his season around offensively. Because he's been doing a lot of things right, except shooting. He's been, playmaking has been all right. He had a really, really nice pass to Randall. I think that might have been my ooh play of the day on a fast break, like the look off pass to Randall for the easy two. Really nice pass by Quickly. I'm looking to see if he continues that play. I'm looking to see if Obi Toppin continues to score at this rate because he looks really comfortable and has been finishing it at the basket with regularity. I'm loving this touch in the basket. He kind of little finger roll, adjusted in the air. I love all of that stuff. I don't want to see him shy away from contact, but I love what I'm seeing from Obi Toppin, not settling for the 3-point shot all the time, but taking it to the hole and adjusting and keeping his motor. I want to see this defensive rotations. I want to see how much leash does Evan Fournier have on defensive end of the ball, and whether Grimes will start to see more minutes trickle in. Because believe it or not, Grimes, if RJ did not have a bad game today, we would not have seen Grimes at all. It would not have been Grimes time if RJ Barrett didn't have a bad game today. Because all we started to see was more Alec Burks. That's all we started to see. So I'm looking to see if Grimes starts to make an appearance earlier if the defense falters. Because like I said in Summer League, Tom might have to force his hand. If he feels like he has to force his hand to get some defensive energy in these lineups, he would. And that lineup, at the end was interesting. It was like Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly with Grimes and Randall and Noel. That was an interesting lineup. And it's a lineup that seems like it might need some more work. I feel like Randall, even at that like closing lineup, I was kind of tired of Randall. And maybe he was just tired, but I felt like after sitting down towards the end of the game, he was a little bit lackadaisical defensively for me in the end of the game. But that's a whole nother story I just thought about. But it's going to be interesting to see if that lineup is going to be used again in certain situations, because it's kind of a mix of the bench and the second unit, offense, defense. It kind of gives you a little bit of everything, especially if things are clicking on cylinders. Because I've been loving the way Quickly's been playing defense. And it's funny because Quickly's always been a defensive guy in college. So a guy shouldn't be super surprised that he's playing pretty good defense now, because he's been a defensive person. He hasn't had the length and the strength to be like a defensive guy, but he's always had that tenacity about him. Picks for Timmy says Quickly or Burks to the starting five, in my opinion. That's something to look at. Because it's funny because even though, Burks has a herky-jerky game. Sometimes he's off, sometimes he's on. But even Burks' defense has been way better than usual, and way better than anybody else, any other guards in that first unit too. So you got to give it to Burks. He's been pretty high defense. Shout out to Alejandro. I see you, my guy. Shout out to you in the chat, man. But I'm looking for that. I'm looking to see if Grimes is going to get some minutes tomorrow. Yeah, man. It's definitely been suspect. I'm looking for that. And I'm looking to see how Randall responds. And I'm also looking to see if Mitch can repeat his performance against Embiid tomorrow. He did a pretty good job the first game. Embiid still, he's battling, his health. He's battling conditioning. But I'm looking to see if Mitch can hold his own against Embiid again tomorrow, or if Embiid takes that game personally. Yeah, man. Exactly. Shout out to tell him Alejandro in the chat, man. Letting me know. He says he wants McBride first of all, and he says 76ers, Bucks, and LaMelo coming up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, this week is a hell week. So we gotta strap up and get ready. This is gonna be a week. The reality is the East has gotten better. These Cavs teams used to be these Cavs teams are no chumps, but the Knicks aren't chumps either. So it should be a good NBA season. The East should be a battlefield. I'm looking forward to this week. I want to see how we are. The Bucks are still kind of undermanned, but they're gonna want revenge. 76ers are gonna want revenge as well. And Charlotte has always been tough. Charlotte gave us problems last season. LaMelo has been on another level. And they got their man back from last season who was injured, so it's going to be a battlefield this week, man. It's going to be a battlefield this week. So definitely tune in tomorrow. All right? It should be me and Raw tomorrow. I'll be back talking Knicks basketball. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Shout out to Alejandro in the chat. Picks for Timmy. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT Show. This is Jay Ellis. You already know where to find us. Find us at the KOT Show on Twitter. The Knick of Time Show on Instagram and Facebook. And you already know, go to the blog. Go to the knickoftimeshow.com to catch these blogs, catch the comic, and also catch the KOT Snapbacks. And shout out for Will Mena, who's rocking the KOT Snapback as he's watching the show. So shout out to you, my guy, Wilton Mena. All right? Let's go. We back, baby. It's not the end of the world, guys. this is not the end of the world. We still in the thick of it. Let's get this W tomorrow, back to back. We're going to be ready. The good thing about the NBA is these games come fast. So you pissed off tomorrow. You pissed off today. You get that win tomorrow. Let's get back tomorrow. All right? That is our show. Shout out to the community. And as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here, man. All right? That is our show. We are out of here. Peace.